Hardworking Mom, and I am back with another Thursday business tip. Okay, so today's business tip is going to be on insurance. So I've had this question multiple times, and I had a request to do a tip on business insurance. So let's talk about first the types of insurance that businesses carry. So there's multiple types of insurance. There is property insurance, just like you have on your house. So if you have a home-based business, you better check with your insurance to make sure that it is covered, because most times it's not. It is usually not covered because it is separate from your personal residence, even though you are doing it out of your home. There is professional liability insurance. So let's say that, like me, so I'm a CPA. If I do work as a CPA, I have to have professional errors and omissions insurance. If you are providing services as a business coach, so there's lots of coaching groups out there, and those coaches need to carry insurance, and it is considered professional insurance because you're giving out business advice. So you have to be really careful, because if someone takes your advice and then you have said, if you do this, you can get $10,000, then that's a promise that you've made, and you really need to protect yourself with insurance. There is, so there's property insurance. So let's say that you have a storage unit, like I do, and you have some of your business products in that. You need to have insurance on that. If you have rented a office spot somewhere, you need to have property coverage for that. Most places will require that. So if you decide you want to be a life coach and you want to have a little office space in a downtown area, then most likely they're going to require you to have some type of property insurance. And the other insurance that you need is general liability. So this just protects you if, let's say if you're a crafter, okay, and you go to a craft fair and someone trips over something you have that's down on the ground. Well, guess what? There's a real possibility they could sue you, and general liability insurance would cover that. All right, so let's talk about how much you would need. So if we're talking about property, then you just need enough to cover whatever it is that you have. So you would want to, like if you have a storage unit. So I have a storage unit, and I estimate about what is in my storage unit, and then I have that as insurance to protect me, because if, God forbid, something happened and that storage unit burnt down, I would lose all of that inventory, and I would lose the cost of it if I don't have it insured. So professional liability, so you would want to have usually about $100,000 to $300,000 per occurrence. What that means is every time someone comes and tries to say that you did not do what you promised, or you made a mistake. So for like me, if I did a tax return and I made an error on it, then it would cover me up to $100,000 per tax return. Okay? So you want to have limits about $100,000 to $300,000 for that. Now that doesn't mean that's how much you pay to the insurance company. So it can be anywhere from, say, $400 a year to a couple $1,000s a year, depending on what limits you set. Then property insurance, it can run about, it's kind of around where renter's insurance is. It can be anywhere between $100 a year to $300 or $400 a year, depending on how much you have in there. Then your general liability insurance, that you kind of want to have a little bit higher. So it might be a good idea to have $1 million to $3 million limit on that. It's generally nowhere near as expensive as it sounds. So it can be between, again, 500 and several thousand. It just depends on what it's covering. It depends on if you are manufacturing products. It depends on what type of business you're in. So for home-based businesses that is mostly crafters, it generally is the lower scale. But when you talk to an insurance agent, they're going to ask you a lot of questions. They're going to ask you, where is your product? What kind of product is it? Where do you sell your product? Where do you house your product? Are there guarantees on your product? So it's a lot more expensive if you're doing something that is health related, that's financial related, that especially health related. So if you created your own vitamin, well, that's a lot more liability than if you create a wreath. So there's not really a big chance that someone is going to have some kind of health problem from your wreath. But there's a chance that someone could have a health problem if you created a vitamin. So that's the kind of things that they're going to be asking. So let's talk about where you can get insurance. So you can call whoever you get your current insurance through. Who do you have your car insurance through? Who do you have your home insurance through? I know that the Hartford is a good one to get general business insurance from. Allstate has it. You can just do a Google search online to see, who provides insurance in your area. And then you just want to give them a call and kind of go through it with them. They'll do the best to find you a policy that is not terribly expensive and still covers what you need. The insurance agents will also be able to help you with knowing what kind of limits you need. But I would say, generally speaking, you want your insurance to be per occurrence. So that's really important. So when I was the CFO at the hospital, we had general risk insurance, and it's really important that you have it per occurrence. And that means essentially per person. So if something happened and someone sued you, that's an occurrence. If someone else had a problem and they sued you, that's another occurrence. So you want to be very careful that you get per occurrence and not aggregate. So aggregate means that it would be for the whole year that you're insured. So that's really important, and it's something I learned a lot about when I was running hospitals, because of course it's health and it's very liability driven. So you should not have nearly as much liability as we had, but it's really important that you go ahead and you research it. Now, if you're just starting out and you really don't have that much and you're really not making any money yet, you may not need insurance yet. This is really when you have established your business and you're really starting to make sales, or you're going to be doing craft fairs. Then you want to go ahead and look into getting insurance. It just protects you. I mean, if you don't really have that much inventory and you don't have that much to lose, then it may not be worth it for you to get insurance. You really have to do that analysis to see what the cost benefit is. So if the insurance costs $1,000 a year and you're only making $100 a year, well, then you wouldn't want to do that because the benefit wouldn't be there. So that's what you always want to do when you're making decisions about anything in your business. You always want to sit down, write it out. This is the cost, this is the benefit. So if I have to pay $1,000 and I have $10,000 in inventory, guess what? Yeah, it's worth it to me because I could lose $10,000, but if I spend $1,000, I can protect that. So that's what you want to do when you are determining whether you're going to be purchasing something or not. Same thing like with your inventory, right? If you are not really selling, then you don't want to invest a whole bunch of money in inventory. When you're first starting out, it's a good idea just to make one thing, sell it, and then take the profits and then make two, and then sell those two, and then make four. And you see, that's how you build your inventory up. That's how you build your business up. So, you know, unless you have really deep pockets, it's not a great idea to spend a ton of money when you're first starting out. So you just want to use that and determine what is best for you. Every business is different. Every person is different. What works for me may not work for you. Okay? So I hope this helped you, and I will be back soon with another business tip. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye. Have a blessed day.